Welcome back, esteemed colleagues and fellow masochists of meaningful work, to another episode of the 5-Minute Social Worker, the podcast that dares to navigate the treacherous waters of social work with nothing but a leaky canoe and a paddle made of good intentions. I'm your host, Matt, here to escort you through our daily endeavours, which often feel like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube that's been superglued together. Our tale today, it's part cautionary, reminding you of that time you tried to make a smoothie and forgot to put the lid on the blender. It's part battle cry, akin to the fervour of a vegan at a barbecue, and so relatable, it's like realising everyone's been muting you on that group chat. Our tale begins on a morning that promised nothing out of the ordinary. The sun was shining with the optimism of a newly qualified social worker, and our hero, let's call her Amy, had her day planned with the precision of a military operation. Little did she know, she was about to embark on an odyssey of overcommitment that would make Odysseus' journey home look like a trip to the corner shop. Act 1. The calm before the storm. Amy's morning was a symphony of efficiency. Emails answered, reports filed, and coffee consumed with the gusto of a social worker on a mission. She even had time to water her desk plant, a resilient fern that had survived against all odds, much like Amy's sense of humour. But, as any seasoned social worker knows, tranquility is but the eye of the storm. Fast forward through a meeting that could have been an email, and Amy's stomach growls. Lunchtime has come and gone, unnoticed. She contemplates eating her pen cap. It's fibre, right? But opts for a granola bar found at the bottom of her bag. It's slightly crushed, much like her spirit at this point. No sooner had Amy leaned back to admire her day's productivity, the phone rings. It was a call from the local school, a situation needing immediate attention. Amy sprang into action, her lunch break forgotten, as she dashed out the door, her cape of duty billowing behind her, metaphorically speaking, of course. The plot thickens. At the school, Amy found herself not just as a social worker, but as a mediator, a detective, occasional stand-up comic trying to lighten the mood. Picture it, Amy orchestrating peace talks with the skill of a UN diplomat, all while mentally calculating the growing backlog of tasks awaiting her. It was multitasking on steroids. If multitasking paid, she'd be a millionaire. With the school crisis deftly managed, Amy returned to the office, her stomach grumbling protests that were promptly ignored. The afternoon brought an unexpected visit from a client, a report that refused to write itself, and an email chain that had taken on a life of its own. Amy felt like she was a chef in the kitchen of social work. As soon as she got one problem to simmer down, 2 more would start boiling over. Act 3, the Twilight Zone. Evening crept in with the stealth of an unannounced home visit. The office was quiet, the day's chaos reduced to a whisper. Yet, our intrepid social worker was still there, tapping away at her keyboard, a lone warrior battling against the ever-encroaching deadlines. The report, a behemoth of paperwork and client notes, was slowly taking shape, much like Amy's realisation that perhaps, just perhaps, she might have bitten off more than she could chew. It was in this moment of quiet desperation, with the clock ticking a taunting lullaby, that Amy had an epiphany. Overcommitment wasn't a sign of dedication, it was the quickest route to become a martyr to the cause. The true art wasn't in juggling an impossible number of tasks, it was knowing which balls to keep in the air and which to set down gently. And so, as our hero finally closed her laptop, the last email sent, the final report submitted, she made a vow to embrace the art of saying no, or at the very least, not right now. Because in the grand tapestry of social work, self-preservation isn't just a strategy, it's a necessity. And so, fellow travellers on this journey of social work, let's take heart from this tale. Let's navigate our days with wisdom, knowing when to forge ahead and when to anchor for the night. May our multitasking be merry, our commitments manageable, and our lunch breaks forever taken. Till next time, take care